Hello, this is going to be a quick YouTube video going straight to YouTube. I kind of talked about it on my show already, so I'm not going to really rehash the same thing. But this is kind of, this is actually brought up, this topic, from a Mr. Bit 10 video, which was why I don't own an iPad post PC. Now, I really like all of Mr. Bit 10's videos. I'm kind of doing a disclaimer here. And I usually agree with Mr. Bit 10 about like 95% of the time. But there was a few statements he kind of made in there that I really disagree with, but they're minor things. And I think the main thing that Mr. Bit, or one of the things he mentioned that kind of along these lines, that the iPad is, mainly used for media consumption and not so much for business, because I made some comments on the video and he kind of responded that, it hasn't really, hopefully I don't misconstrue what he was trying to say, but that the iPad really, or the iPad and perhaps even Android tablets aren't really used nearly as much in business. But I kind of disagree with that, because I've seen, in the newspaper every week where it's been adopted by some entity, business, school, and a mishmash of other places where it's being adopted, and not just for consumer use, for entertainment or watching videos or social networking. And so I did actually do some research, and surprisingly, some of the stuff that I found out was surprising even to me, because I never really tried to look beyond for personal use, but being adopted for businesses. And I'm going to tell you what I found out. And I'm going to actually several articles. And actually, I should have saved this before. Okay, one of them in particular, why the iPad is conquering the workplace, and this is from the Cult of Mac. And in this news article, and this is for pilot use, by the way, and it names 3 airlines that are doing this. I think it's Continental, Delta, and United Airlines have replaced their heavy, expensive pilot flight manuals with iPads. All pilots now just carry an iPad instead of a bag full of books and binders, which can actually weigh up to 38 to 40 pounds. So, and obviously they just use it right on there. And I actually linked it to another article, and now I think it was Continental, the one that was doing this, but they actually ordered 11,000 iPads just for that use. And also in the same article, it mentions British Airways is using iPads for cabin crews to access the airline's database of customer data, including who's traveling with whom, executive club status, and so on and so on. And also in the same article, it's mentioning that Apple told Associated Press that they are aware of more than 600 school districts in the United States that have initiated one-on-one programs where each student is given an iPad to use all day. Now, keep in mind, I'm not saying the whole school or something like that is being initiated. I know some are still trial schools on some of these school districts. But it's kind of interesting. I didn't know that many school systems are adopting it. Now, some is being used in the medical field. And I'm going to give you one example. Yale Medical School is replacing its entire paper medical program with an iPad-based curriculum. I even seen some in my area, I think, that is using it for pre-med, loading all their textbooks onto iPads. Now, the same article does mention that the iPad adoption has been kind of slow in medical use. Perhaps actually the Android tablets are being more implemented more. And I actually talked to a teacher today in Starbucks that mentioned that they are using, they're not using as many iPads than Android-based tablets because iPads don't support Flash. But I'm still seeing some adoption of iPads for that still. And now on the same article, I was initially surprised of all the responses people put that they use their iPads for work or some other use like that. And one of them was actually the captain of a cargo ship was using his iPad. Anytime he wasn't on the bridge, he would use his iPad for engineering data, course corrections, mapping, nautical charts, and stuff like that when he's not on the bridge, which I thought was really amazing in itself. And here's another one. A lawyer went all paperless just using an iPad, which is amazing. He just takes his iPad with him to court, I guess. He says he can actually make he keeps, templates. He can do it right there and type it up like legal documents, and then he can send it right. Well, I don't know how he sends it to a printer. He probably has to email it out to get printed. But supposedly that function is going to come. I guess you call it air printing, which it just wirelessly sends it to a printer. Supposedly that's coming out in iOS 5. So I just want to mention it's really being adopted much more than just an entertainment device. Now, keep in mind, the iPad, for most people, it's not to necessarily replace PC, like desktop PCs or laptops. In fact, I'm saying more as a secondary device in addition to those. Because Mr. Bit 10 mentioned that desktops are primarily for media creation and production, which pretty much they are. But the iPad is using as a supportive function in these type of situations, I think. Now, another thing he mentioned, which may or may not, I don't think it really has to do with iPads, but with Apple and Mac computers in general, which is the use of gestures. He kind of mentions they're kind of gimmicky. I think gestures will definitely help increase productivity. But I'm not saying by themselves they will. I think gestures really need to be used in combination with other input devices, mouses, keyboard shortcuts, and things like that. So I don't really think it's gimmicky. I think it just increases the usefulness of the computer, especially if you're using laptops. I think it would increase productivity, especially if you only have a single monitor type of situation. So, yeah, I just want to add that in there. Besides that, I still love Mr. Bit 10 videos, other than the things I wanted to mention. Hopefully he's going to let me use this as a video response, and see you guys later.